So I started doing videos because I know it's a lot. I get them old gears up there turning, and my wife says I'm a little overpowering to talk to. But I like to get the ideas out so I can't be interrupted. So anyways, now to pick up where I've left off. I think the best way to look at it is everything, but we're just dissecting our meat suits that I'm going to be using robot and like program and those terms. So just pretend you're the machine and your mind is the computer, the ether, could be the internet, or in this sense, maybe the internet is the memory that's in your DNA. Either way, just use your imagination, okay? So the whole point is to not be a robot. And if we're not going to be a robot, we have to think differently. Okay, it's not, I don't know anything other than what I know. And it doesn't matter from your perspective because you're you and I am me. So now, let's talk to my mom. And before she had me, she had my sister. And my sister is going to be upset about this probably, but this is neat, so I got to say it. This is just proves what I've been saying, and maybe I'm looking for it or maybe I'm not. But anyways, my mom, after she had my sister, lived in a bad roachy area. Like you know, back then you moved in these houses and they'd be infested and she could not get rid of them. And it really fucked with her. And then a couple years later, she had me. Now, she raised us both somewhat, and we were both raised by our dad somewhat. Now, my sister can live with roaches, and I can't. And my point is when my mom was traumatized from being around those roaches, she hadn't had me yet, but she had already had my sister. So that wasn't written in her DNA. It wasn't written to have that, because I'm proposing that everything is written in your DNA, all your experiences, and your strong experiences, fears, love, like extreme happiness is imprinted in you. Your skills are imprinted in you. Your like if you had a dad that was a sailor, or let's say your granddad's dad was a sailor, you might find yourself tying knots one day that you never knew how to tie, but you can just, it's like a feeling. It's like, I think of what I need and the knot comes out. Anyways, the other day, I'm fucking sharpening the axe and I'm listening to music, and the next thing I know, I'm fucking heating it up, dipping it. I'm like, what am I doing? And I just know that I'm making it harder. Do you understand? Like I might not be doing the things exactly the way that we do them these days, or the right way at all, but it's coming from somewhere that's not who I am. Like, I don't have a memory of learning these knots and doing all this. And I suppose some people could say that maybe I'd seen it done and subconsciously recorded it, but I would bet that it's just as likely that somewhere along the line, somebody in my family, either side or whatever, was done this a lot. They've done this over and over and over and over, because when you make something a habit, you kind of grow a groove in your brain, and I would think that would be another way to change it. Like if you could consciously change it by making it a habit, then your DNA is imprinted with that habit. We have our kids too soon because it takes us too long to learn these things, because we're in public school instead of being taught the truth about things. My kids will know the truth about things, and I'm telling you, to this day, my kids are all going to be good at what they do. They're all going to be at peace in their mind because they're going to know how things really work. If I had a kid now, that kid would have that in that DNA. That kid would have all my carpenter skills, all the electrician skills I've learned, everything I've learned about life that's important. That kid do it. That kid will have it inside him and have an easier time getting the ability. I'm not saying that it's for sure. I'm not saying I know how it works or how to access it. But I did hear that they downloaded an audio book onto a drop of blood, and then they found out there was like hundreds of terabytes or something, thousands of terabytes of space. Like they replicated it over and over and then uploaded it back off the blood. Everything is everything. We make computers to model the mind. We make robots to model the persons to get the work done. We make drones to do things that we used to have animals do. Okay, we just copy and try to make a better thing because that's what our creator does. And whether it's nature or Jehovah or Yahshua or fucking whoever, it doesn't matter because it's just mimicking another thing. It's just a fractal of something else. Somewhere along the line, people forgot this, or they, we've spread ourselves out, or maybe this is why races usually stuck together. I don't know. But if you look at the old world buildings and you think about it, it's like, oh, that might be how those people could build that fast. That might be how those people could carve those structures and get all this done because they have been in a trade for generations. Family businesses. Tailors did it. You still hear about the remnants of it. Like, you still hear about how it's like a smart way to keep everything in the family, and how kings and queens used to pick the suitor for the daughter because the bloodlines need to have honorable and suitable people. And this is why it's important to keep families together, so you can pass the knowledge, you can pass your heritage on to each other. It's not about one being good or the other one being this or that, because that's the trick. The trick is to think that one is better than the other. No, we all have things we can bring to the world, and they're equally as important. The lug nut on your car doesn't seem as important as your steering wheel, but if the fucking front wheel comes off, you can't steer shit. You know what I'm saying? And the power of everything that you admire and what you're trying to get in life, it doesn't really matter who you are. It doesn't come from the outside, okay? You have all the knowledge and information that one could possibly need in you. And I could imagine that people have gotten maybe 25 generations back at trades and stuff. The people that learned about the thing said you could go 17 generations back. Could you imagine? Look at the athletes. Pat Mahomes' dad was a baseball player. He wasn't like super athletic, and then he comes in there and does this. I would bet most athletes have an athletic dad or a coach that could coach them. So you could say that it's nurture that does things. But then you get people that come out of the ghetto or people come out of the sticks that didn't have nothing, that didn't come from farmer, Larry Bird. So we know that a person could change their software programming and probably achieve anything if they're focused enough on it, if they have the belief. I believe that. Now, if you took and bred that in people, and with a conscious thought like, yes, son, you can be what you want, but your trade, what you're going to contribute to the world is art, or you're going to, create grand buildings. Building, tile work, hardware, putting TVs up, ceiling fans, windows, and put them in, gutters, refinish or patch, hardwood drywall, whatever it is, man, in this house. It comes pretty easy. And I went through a lot of my life thinking that it was easy like that to everybody. And I owe a lot of people an apology. But it just always felt very arrogant to talk like that. So I'm thinking, no, you can obviously do it too. Hold on. So what I've come to to realize is we, hold on. I'm on the phone. What's up? Ask your grandma. I'm on the phone, okay? All right. If she won't, I will. Just ask her if she can. Hey. What time you gotta be there?
I gotta be there at 1:45.
What time is it now?
1:09.
Alright, okay. If she won't, I'll take you. What I've realized is some people's programming is deeper, right? It is strange to watch my wife and my daughter interact because my wife and I were together when she was in high school, and my daughter is of the age of my wife when we got together, and her hair, her mom had the same color hair, blonde highlights. I mean, they just looked the same to me last night, and I'm thinking, damn, she's braiding her hair. My daughter's hair is long. Her mom, Trevania's mom, would never let her cut her hair. And I thought, this DNA thing is real, man. It's real to a level that I never even comprehended. Like, people are like, addiction and all this is genetic. They're not even telling you the truth, how real and how wrong of what they're saying is. First of all, yeah, it's genetic and it's nurtured because you see the shit. I grew up in a place that I didn't really believe in that I could do everything. I knew it was possible, but I'm like, I'm just going to have to get a job and work for a living. I never thought that I could work for myself or go to college or run a business or be in the NFL. And I had great fucking skills in sports. I never even tried. Like, I just played. And I realized one day, way too late, of course, to do anything in sports, that it really is just steps to anything. And it's kind of like shooting a gun. If you got your target on the target and it hangs to the left, wow, aim a little bit to the right. I don't even have to change the sights. Everybody is so focused in procedure and they don't realize the procedure is the chain. You see, and it's not that procedures aren't great. In the public, in business, you better use them if you want to have a good business. But if your focus is being at peace and being happy and living your life, well, you might not want to get caught up in the procedure because you're missing a whole lot of other stuff around here. I started learning law because I realized the history was jacked up. And I realized that it's just a bunch of the same stuff over and over. Our system, it's just the words are different, but it's still from the 1600s. Rome's money went fake and they collapsed, and that's where ours is headed. The only difference is each time they learn something from it. But everything operates under the laws, real laws, and the real laws are nature, God, and that doesn't change. And they know this, whoever makes up laws, because if you look at them, you can see they're mirrored after everything is about an offer and acceptance. Everything is like a simple contract. You think, well, I didn't fucking agree to fucking go to jail, be able to be put in jail, but you did. You just didn't realize it. First, your parents agreed for you, and then when you kept going, your silence and your taking of their benefits kind of locks you in, but you don't got to stay in. But if you can't get past, maybe we got it wrong, or maybe we could do a lot different. If you can't get past your initial programming, well then fuck, man, you're just a robot. You're a tricked bot, and you're tricked because you don't understand and you're afraid, and you're only afraid if you don't understand. Because once you understand that there's nothing to be afraid of. You overstand it. Just saying, man. Do what compels you guys, man. It ain't that hard. It's not that hard. It really isn't. All you gotta do is get super fucking honest with yourself. And just try to love everybody the best you can. And that means sometimes you gotta be a dickhead to people. Sometimes you can just help somebody out And sometimes helping them out hurts them. I don't know, man. Love to talk more about it, though, obviously.